How do they do it? Why do they do it? Riding and crashing and riding and winning and always faster and faster.
Well, welcome back everybody to With Antone MotoGP 2025, and it's an exciting Grand Prix this weekend. We're heading into round 17, the Japanese Grand Prix, the twin ring Motegi circuit. And you know, 5 years, countless surgeries, whispers of retirement, yet Marc Marquez, number 93, has never given up. He's battled through pain, operations and setbacks that would have ended most careers. The 8-time world champion is, however, he's back on top. 300 days with no racing and over 2,100 days since his last title. So today we're going to look at the journey, the incredible journey of Marc Marquez, from some of those darkest moments from injury through to the brink of his 9th world title, 7 MotoGP titles and 2 in the junior class. But for me, it's 9 titles. So look, he can even make it 100 wins. He sits on 99 wins at the moment. But let's look back and start with what I'm calling the lost years. You know, since 2019, after 4 championships in a row, like I said in the intro, he's had 4 operations. In Jerez in 2020, he broke badly. He high-sided, the bike went through the gravel, hit his arm, right humerus, major break. It did not heal well at all, and he had multiple surgeries. He had a second operation in August of that year and had the titanium plate that had been damaged replaced, and again he had to go back under the knife. So really the non-union of the bone really caused him difficulties, and later in the 2020 season, I think it was December, he had to go in to have the plate removed and a bone graft made to try to get the bones to heal together. 8 hours he was on the surgeon's table for. He came back in 2021, but things just didn't feel quite right. You know, he was back on the bike, but it didn't feel right. He had trouble with his position on the bike. He didn't feel at all well, and plus he wasn't going as quickly as he'd liked. But in 2022, he had technically healed. But what they discovered, and just this is phenomenal, the bone had healed, but it was offset by approximately 30 degrees turned. So what he had to do was literally bite the bullet and head back in for a 4th major surgery at the US Mayo Clinic to actually re-rotate that bone in his right humerus and actually look at some plates and some screws. So he got through that. He jumped back on the Honda in 23, the HRC Honda, the RC. He had lots of crashes and it was becoming really frustrated. We saw him a little bit like Acosta recently with hand gestures, not happy. So he decided to make the switch. Now this is a major moment in anyone's career. He left HRC and he went to the Gresini team at the invitation of Gresini, and also Alex Marquez is apparently involved with that decision making. And he went to ride for Gresini in 2024. He left his salary behind at HRC. They say 20 million euro a year he was earning. And he went and jumped on that Gresini 2023 and he rode for free. He was wanting to see if he could still be competitive. Did he still have it? Because if he didn't have it, his career was over. It was his test. So what we then saw in 2024 was Marquez getting back on that Gresini, going a little bit quicker, having to learn to ride the Gresini style, smooth, and we saw what happened. He also at the same time masterminded a move to get himself back to a factory team. Now, I've talked about this before in previous episodes with Antone MotoGP. It was a masterclass in management, political management, management of the manufacturer Ducati and getting what he wanted. So he basically, in 36 races, he has taken his 14 wins. So let's talk a little bit about legacy. Now, Marc was asked about this in an interview, and he said, numbers are numbers, and that's not in my hands. But the most important thing is to increase the numbers. So this is the whole Dorna, we don't want to recognise smaller classes. We talked about that last episode. You can go back and have a look at that. But Marc Marquez is completely focused. He's relaxed. He doesn't have to win. He only has to score Alex Marquez, his brother, by 3 points, and the title's his. But he's not in any rush to do it, whether he wants to do it in Japan, the backyard of Honda. Honda own Motegi circuit, so let's see how he goes. But yeah, that's exactly how it's going to go on. Now, one of the things about his legacy, and that's why he talked about numbers and numbers, each rider signs 2 contracts, one with their team or their factory, and another one with Dorna. Now, Dorna's the promoter, we all know that. Liberty are bringing in changes. So he is, again, politically choosing the words very carefully. So let's see what happens this week. He is ready to go, and for me, I look forward to welcoming him as a 9-time world motorcycle champion. So what about Motegi this weekend? Well, Jorge Martin's been making some noises out there. He says that his pre-season is over and he's good to go. He had the great practice day, San Marino, apparently a lot of small changes, bike setup, position on the bike, how he sits, his grips, his foot pegs and so forth. But Motegi is known as a very technical circuit. It's stop and go. It's long straights and hard braking. Now, braking, okay, so what are we doing? Brembo, it's mandatory. You have to run the 355mm brakes. So this will help Mr. Go Free Bagnaia. You know, it's been 5 GPs since Bagnaia's been on the podium, and that's the longest in his career. So let's wait and see what he might be able to do something. But it's, you know, it's going to be a matter of seeing exactly how it goes. So what I like to do is look back at some of the previous races. So in 23, Jorge Martin won the race from Marc Marquez on a Honda in 23. And in 24, it was Bagnaia from Jorge Martin from Marc Marquez on the Gresini bike. So the weather forecast, it should be fine. If there's one thing I know about Motegi, having been there a couple of times, it can rain, and when it rains, it can stay wet. So we'll wait and see. In terms of what I'm thinking from a race prediction, look, I think Marc will go out and do the job, and I think Alex will be very competitive. Bagnaia, who knows what he's going to do, but my tip for something special is Jorge Martin. I think Jorge Martin is going to do something. If maybe even a podium, and the outside chance is also Pedro Acosta. If it rains, well, we might see some of the Japanese favourites from Suzuka. We might see Zarco, and we might see Jack Miller do something in terms of that. So from the operating table to where we stand right now, Marc Marquez is now at the top of the podium. He's proven once again why he's one of the greatest ever to race in the Premier class. You know, his story and his legacy, it's not just about how fast he goes, how many trophies he has, how many world titles he's got, but it's about resilience, determination, and refusing to let go of his dream to win and to win again. So after, 2,100 days, it's never been done before. So let's wait and see. So the champion, he's back. We know he's back. He's done great work this year, and we're going to wait and see how he goes. But what do you think about Marc Marquez? We are so lucky to be able to see Marquez after the story. I mean, this episode, reading through those lists of operations, oh my God, it's certainly there. But what do you think about Marc Marquez? Why don't you drop it below in the comments? If you've got a race prediction, then let me know. What about Jorge Martin? Do you think the Aprilia is going to do something, or maybe it's Acosta's time? So if you've enjoyed today's episode, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to continue the journey with Antone MotoGP, then certainly drop us a subscription. All right, enjoy the Grand Prix racing this weekend, and let's see if Marquez can make it number 9. Okay, bye for now.